Hello, my good people of Biafra land. This is your one and only Okute Daily Talk. I'm here again. Good morning to you all. My location here is morning. I don't know about your location, but if you are in your night, good night, good afternoon, and good midnight to most of my listeners, my subscribers, and my family members, those who know what I'm doing. I bless you all this Tuesday morning. In the mighty name of Let's go straight into the news of the day. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I want you to do that ASAP. Without you, there will be no me. So please endeavor to be contributing to the progress of my channel and every other channel out there who is trying one way or the other to make sure that we pass on messages to our people. So please tighten your seatbelt, grab your popcorn, whatever you can lay your hand on. We are moving to the news of the day. Do not touch the dial. I am here for you. Let's take on the headlines before we can go into the news. It is criminal to remove history from schools. Biafra will always be remembered, says by Soyinka. As you can see, the soul of this young man has been grabbed and he is now speaking for Biafrans because Nigeria removed the history from our curriculum simply because of the genocide they conspired with the UK and performed in our very own land. That is why Nigeria can never have peace. The innocent of 3 million Biafrans they killed with starvation, hunger, and the rest of them will always speak for this country. That is why you see the country in a total mess. I don't doubt what they are passing through today. After all, there's no progress in Nigeria. When you come to Biafra land, you will find out that a lot of progress we are recording on daily basis. The only region that have not even tested power in this current dispensation of their government, but we are still waxing stronger and stronger and stronger on daily basis. So whatever they say or do, Biafra must always stand. Thank you, Soyinka, for speaking out, because I know that you is a man of integrity sometimes, so not all the time, because you campaign for Buhari and look at where Buhari has left us. But thank you for speaking the truth. Reactions, serious weakest revelations of payment of 13% derivation arrears. Stakeholders seek probe of Niger Delta states. Yes, they need to be probed. Wike have revealed a lot of things, and I'm waiting for the government to swoop into action, because imagine Delta State, look at how the total mess in Delta State. There's no any good road other than the road that has been built there by others. Okowa entered there with his ugly face and ugly mouth, making series of statements here and there without not doing any single work. Yet they call him a road master. Which road have Okowa consulted? It's only in Delta State you find out that an express that leading from that Delta to another state, people stuck there for complete 2 weeks because of erosion that divide the road into two. And where is all this money that these people? Because I know that PTL, Petroleum Trust Fund, is paying all these petroleum producing states a lot of money. But sometimes we keep on blaming the NNPC, whatever, and the federal government, not knowing that the governors are being paid heavily and they stock all this cash in their banks and in their foreign banks and local banks, and the remaining ones they stock it in their warehouse. That is why there's no flow of the naira. Tell me what Okowa have been doing with 13%. Benin State, the same thing. What are they been doing with 13%? Bayelsa, the same thing. Akwa Ibom, the same thing. Imo State, the same thing. They received this money because Imo State, all the oil producing states in Nigeria receive 13% from whatever Nigeria produce in the crude oil sector. Yet most of all these states are even devil self, or even what do they call it, Mami water. We even scared to take those areas because of how dilapidated those areas are. If you ask them, they will tell you go to Asaba. I mean, is the development only meant for the capital city? What happened to the rural areas where all these oils are coming from? If you went all these places, it is difficult for you to collect something to eat from them. Very stinking and fucking area. Pardon my word, please, Facebook, YouTube. Pardon my words for using F word. But at least those areas are supposed to be one of the best areas you can ever think of. Yet, when you go to those areas, I mean, oil produce, even their own water. I wonder how the children in those areas survive. No good water, no good road, no electricity, no any infrastructure that make those areas to know, yes, that there's an oil going out from our land. All these areas I'm talking about now, go to their rivers and their seas, you barely see fish because oil split have killed everything. Their crops barely grow well because of the manure in their land. Listen, what makes a crop to grow big is that oil. They are digging from there. Yet, they find it difficult to at least, even if 1% of what federal government is paying them or Petroleum Trust Fund is paying them, if they can be able, the governors of those states, I'm telling you, if they can be able to just allocate 1% to those people, my dear, they can never be poor for their life. But due to the greedy and the sycophants we have in government house in the different offices, they just to divert and siphon all these funds. You're receiving 13%. Okay, just take 10%. Give the buses, give them back 3%. I'm talking to you more, especially Okowa, because you are the most. I don't know how to rate you, because when I say now, I don't know what I will say now on Facebook. We want me, but you are the most callous, the most moron I ever see as a governor. Even this so-called Uzodinjo that is killing all the whole youths in Imo State, even if he's not completed, but at least he have called Muhammadu Buhari to come and commission some projects. Okowa, have you ever erected any single thing and called? Instead, you said you erected how many with billions of dollars to a stadium, or what did you call it, sir? A theater industry close to your going out from office, and you borrowed the money. Almost 150 million. I mean, 50. How many? Hey, I can't remember. Barara always talk about that on his platform. And you borrowed it. With all the whole money you are receiving, they receive the highest revenue. Apart from Port Harcourt and Lagos, Delta is one of the states that receive the highest revenue from the federal government. See yet. That place is supposed to be a small London. But what do they do with the money? They start all in their foreign and local bank accounts and allow the poor to be suffering in their own editing. Child, what a word. May God help us. 76 abducted passengers rescued from terrorist captivity in Kaduna. Test by moonlight. I hear. That is test by moonlight. I hear all of one. Court orders arrest of APGA factional leader for forging a Supreme Court judgment. Nnamdi Kanu, Rita Edochie blows hot, says Nigeria will never know peace. Thank you, my sister, for speaking out. Thank you so much. May the God Almighty Chukwuokabema bless you and keep you to live long. How they killed Deborah Samuel, abduct Chibok girls over religion. That is Soyinka again speaking. Indonesia, over 40 people fear dead. Scores injured in deadly earthquake. May God have mercy and may the souls of departed rest in the bosom of the Lord. South African court orders Zuma back to jail. Look at the country that is working. It's in Africa, not Oyibo land. Ogun carpenter beats graduate wife to death over property. What kind of property? Arewa youths reveal what they want if President Muhammad Buhari releases Nnamdi Kanu from prison. Hey, well, so Arewa youths now is the one that will determine the fate of what do they call it? The fate of Nnamdi Kanu. So you people are what do I call it? Indirectly making a demand, right? Over what? Anyway, it is not you people's fault. It is the fault of our forefathers who agreed for for the wicked UK to join us together. If not, we wouldn't have been talking about all this mess here. My good people of Biafra, let's go straight into the news of the day. Today being the 22nd of November in the year 2022. Please do not touch the dial. I am coming. Arewa youth reveals what they want. President Muhammadu Buhari releases Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The Arewa Youth Consultative Forum (AYCF) says they are against the release of the 10th leader of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The group, through its national president Yerima Shetima, said if President Muhammadu Buhari decides to release Kanu, then the government must be ready to pay Northerners compensation for the lives and properties lost due to the activities of the Biafran agitator and his team. Here, in the north, hey, in the north, so Biafran now is the one now that is causing havoc in the north. So Biafra now is the one that imported violence in the north. So Biafra now is the one that imported all these machineries to rig a good luck election 2015 and 2019. Yeah, chai, what a word. The AYCF leader added that they have records of all the persons and properties affected, and the government must be ready to address their own demands, running into billions of naira should it release Nnamdi Kanu. Speaking in a chat with the Daily Post, Shetima added that releasing Kanu could be viewed as a sign of weakness on the part of the government and security forces. Speaking further, he said it could mean that people can hope to avoid justice for criminal acts, as the Kanu case would become a reference joint in the future. Instead of releasing Kanu based on any arrangement or agreement, the northern leader said the government must allow the law to run its full course on the matter. So he did not hear that he had been discharged and acquitted, and you are there opening your wide and stinking mouth to talk nonsense. It's all right. He argued that it will be difficult for the law not to find anything against Kanu, but the court is the only part that can be declared the IPOB leader free of charges against him. He said, release Nnamdi Kanu because the Nigerian government is afraid of him. Release him because Nigerian security has been overwhelmed by these criminals going about killing people like Northerners who go to that region to conduct their legitimate businesses. No, it is not done in any society. All they need to do is to buckle up and face the monster. The law must take its full course as they go around unleashing terror in innocent Nigerians, including their own people. The law must be allowed to take its full course. If nothing is found on Kanu, he should be released. But I know it won't be easy because he has said it and has taken such responsibility. We can't be blackmailed. We are not cowards, and Nigerians can't be coerced by a few individuals. If the government of the court, in their magnanimity, decide to find safe ground, they should bear in mind that they will demand that the lives of the Northerners killed in broad daylight by these criminals be compensated. We already have files and documentations of Northerners killed and properties destroyed because we will demand compensation from the government for the people we have lost. Billions lost. The government must be ready to pay. The government should just be aware that we will definitely come out to demand compensation. We will now know that we are in Banana Republic where there is no law and order. We will always use this Nnamdi Kanu's case as a reference point for any crime committed in the future. The government should be ready to take responsibility. I didn't blame you people. I didn't blame all this, what did they call it? All this primary school dropout. I didn't blame you. Because if you know what you are saying, you would have found out that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu case cannot be tried in any other court in Nigeria as long as his case is concerned. Yes, of course. Somebody who has been abducted illegally in addition to Nigeria and is facing trial for a year plus now without any concrete evidence to hold him down. Even if you have any evidence, you must go into the judicial processes to make sure that you bring him back to Nigeria to answer for whatever crime you are charging him of. Rather, you went on abduct him or kidnap him, torture him in Kenya for 10 days before rendition him back to Nigeria under forceful, which is against international law and even local laws at that matter. Nnamdi Kanu, Rita Edochie blows hot, says Nigeria will never know peace. Even the blood of those innocent ones that have been shedding in Nigeria will speak when the time is right. I think he has started speaking himself. He has started speaking. Nollywood actress Rita Edochie has said Nigeria will never know peace if the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, is not released. Okute News record that Kanu has been in the custody of the Department of DSS Service since his arrest and extradition from Kenya to Nigeria in June of 2021. However, in order, a federal high court in Umuahia, Abia State, faulted his extradition, quashing all terrorism charges brought by the federal government. In resistance, the federal government dragged IPOB leader to the Supreme Court following an order of Court of Appeal freeing the IPOB leader. Taken to her Instagram on Monday, Edochie lamented the continued detention of IPOB leader. She also called on the people of the Southeast to unite and demand for Kanu's release, adding that they can never achieve his push for presidency without the support of Kanu. The continued detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will keep dividing Nigeria so long as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still being detained. Nigeria will never know peace. Ndị Igbo, I laugh. Ndị Igbo, wake up. Onye Igbo can never smell president without Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, she wrote. It is a spiritual thing. Fight for your own first, and God will finish the battle. Ndị Igbo, let nothing happen to our great brother Nnamdi Kanu, because it is going to be our worst experience. Chukwuoke Abiyama is waiting for Ndị Igbo to act. God is not sleeping. You are right, my dear sister. Thank you for speaking out on that. Thank you for the point you mentioned in this your article, and it is very, very necessary, because the Igbo allies, I never see anyone, if not that Ohaneze Ndị Igbo or Ohaneze Ndori, no, Igbo elders, not Ohaneze. Ohaneze Ndị Igbo are just out there shouting, free Nnamdi Kanu, free Nnamdi Kanu. They didn't do it. If these people unite together, the problem we are having in that eastern side of the country is because we didn't unite together. And that is why all these Fulanis have been playing on our intelligence, because they know divisions. They know that an Igbo man can easily be bought with money to sold his own brother. That is how they sold out Nnamdi Kanu, and there's no two ways about that. No one can argue that Nnamdi Kanu was being sold out by an Igbo man, and also a strong member of IPOB for that matter. That is the simple truth. And that is why they have known all these things. They bought what did they call him? Hope Uzodinjo. They bought him off. Somebody who is first, he became the first. They bought him off for him to perpetrate all those acts that he's doing in the eastern region. For crying out loud, that is the youth that they will stand for the east. If anything goes up now, that is the youth that they will initiate into army to defend the land. They are killing them one after the other to make sure that they reduce the numbers. But forgetting that now, you understand me? You can never see the cannon at the sun. Whatever they are doing to decrease the number, listen, if they take statistics where the number of Biafrans, they will find out that we are even more than Kano. How many is Kano? All those Almajiris that are fully Kano. Foreigners that fool that place, they will say that Kano is the most populous state. Who said by who? Said by who? Rubbish. Please, let's move quickly into another news. It is criminal to remove history from the schools. Biafra will always be remembered. Soyinka, another veteran, speaking for the Biafrans. Noble Lorette, Prof. Wole Soyinka has berated the federal government of Nigeria for ever attempting to remove history from the curriculum of primary and secondary schools in the country. Soyinka stated that the removal will amount to an attempt to wipe out a collective memory of events, which he described as a criminal attempt, of course. Okute News reports he made his mind known on Sunday while speaking at the 24th edition of the Lagos Book and Arts Festival. It will be recalled that the federal government in the 2009-2010 academic season removed history studies from primary and secondary schools curriculums. However, it was reintroduced in 2019. Speaking against the backdrop of the removal, Soyinka stressed the need to tell historical happenings from the correct perspective, and that is why Oyibo people is more than Nigeria. Nigerians tell their own story from mouth to mouth. Why they put their own in writing? So if they can remove history from our curriculum, then tell me how our future generation will know how this country is being started, how it is being run for, what have happened, the activities and things that have taken place. That is what they are trying to cover up. The genocide they committed against the Biafran people. Soyinka added that the events, sitting Biafra and the Nigerian Civil War were as an example. He said the memories of the Biafran agitation can never be wiped away from the people. That is exactly the point. Soyinka added that the events that led to the Civil War and the aftermath and the effects are visibly seen around up till now. So cancelling the study of history in schools is a great disservice to such important memories. So let them include it back as soon as possible. The professor added that Biafra is more than what transpired on the battlefield, and it is an act of naivety on the part of the government to try and suppress it by cancelling the teaching of history. In his words, collective memory is the key because it is that memory which is related to the mechanisms of relating reality to whatever narrative is given to us. It is far more important, and it is more dangerous because you can get trapped in it because it is collected as a community activity, and some of that I think is happening to us here in Nigeria, he said. I'm referring, of course, to Biafra. The collective memory there is very strong even before the war. I warn that this collective memory might remain to plague efforts at nation being, and that therefore everything should be done to avoid that war. When I use expressions like Biafra can never be defeated, can never be wiped away, people thought I was talking about just battlefield. I was talking about a notion, a passion which enters the collective memory in active life, not just as a past narrative. This is what I was warning against, and we are seeing it today. Governments sometimes think that by undertaking the criminal act of removing history from schools, something which I never believed could ever happen to us, the government actually stopped teaching of history in schools. So naive, so stupid as not to recognize that there is something called memory, collective memory, active memory in the present. If the purpose was to obliterate the war of memories of the war, what about events that led up to the war? What about the positions, the narrative of existence in relation to the outer world? How do you obliterate for this, for heaven's sake? How do you do that? Yet, people sat down and went about their businesses when they removed history from the curriculum. Nobody lamented, nobody talked anything, nobody protested. And that is Nigeria for you. Very easy for them to forget and move ahead. That is what I mean by saying that we must always adjudicate the present by history, by the collective memories. History must be used in progressive manner, according to Wole Soyinka. Soyinka, however, cautioned that history must be allowed to become a negative tool, but must be channeled in such a way as to create progressive mindsets. At the same time, however, we must take care not to become prisoners of that collective memory. That member must be able to use our collective memory in a progressive, productive, creative, and advanced way, Soyinka added. So my great people, you have heard it, that a prominent man, a writer, and the elder statesman, Wole Soyinka, are speaking and also encouraging Nigeria to restore history in their curriculum. Reaction 3 workers weakest revelations of payment of 13 derivation area stakeholders seek probe of Niger Delta. Yes, you need to probe them. Look at them. Look at 5 Niger Delta governors. This one is Emmanuel Odom, and this one is Terry of Bayelsa. This one is Obaseki of Edo, Wike of Port Harcourt, and Okowa of Delta State. So you people have to come and give account of what you people are doing with the 13% derivation being delegated to the 5 states of the Niger Deltas. Several reactions are traced the revelation of the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike about the payment of the 13% derivation areas to Niger Delta states last year. Okutenu report that several stakeholders have questioned other South states on what they use their own share of the money for. Among those who reacted was a coalition identified as the Bayelsa Non-Governmental Organization Forum, which is said to be an umbrella body of over 40 active NGOs in the state. The coalition's coordinator, Dasuye Toki, revealed that we just wrote a letter to the Bayelsa state government through the Ministry of Finance for the procurement plan on what they planned to do in 2022. That will help us monitor the projects that are done in the state. We will also have the information on how much they are receiving every month, and there will be a thorough analysis of what they have done with the money so far. Okute News gathered that the chairman of Phase 2 of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Imo Okoko, called on the federal government to probe the usage of the funds, especially by Akwa Ibom State. While I know they finish, we are moving forward. A lot is coming. Okoko, who decried the living conditions and deplorable state of the infrastructure in oil-producing local government areas of Ekete Ibeno, Eastern Obolo, Mbo, Ikot Abasi, and Esid Iket, queried that the state government, Udom Emmanuel, on what he used the money for. He uses it to buy airlines and the sponsor Atiku campaign. Is it not what they are doing? They are looking for favor. Using the money that meant for the South for somebody that has come from the North, who don't even want to include the South in their plan for the 2023 elections. Nonsense. He said, the oil-bearing areas in the state lack basic infrastructure such access roads, internal roads, hospitals, and potable drinking water, among others. That is what I complained earlier. I want the federal government, civil society groups, traditional rulers, stakeholders, and the ordinary people to ask Governor Udom Emmanuel what he has been using the derivation money for. Okutenu recalled that the Wike had appreciated President Muhammadu Buhari for approving payment of a backlog of allocations to Niger Delta State since 1999. He commended President Buhari for not playing politics with the payment of the 13% derivation areas to Rivers State, Bayelsa State, Delta State, Edo, and Akwa Ibom states. The governor said part of the state's allocation was used for the numerous projects his administrations undertook, including the flyovers, the law school, and the cancer center. You are giving that to the public weekend, despite the fact that they eat, but at least the people are seeing the outcome of the money you are receiving, and you are using them to work. Wike said, money that were not paid to the Niger Delta State since 1999, mainly 13% deductions. The president approved and paid all of us in Niger Delta. Bigger money. The Isekiri Liberation Group also queried the Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, saying he should account for Delta State's share of the money. He is using it to sponsor Atiku's presidential campaign. The group's coordinator, Oris Money, said the funds should reflect in massive developmental and infrastructural projects as seen in Rivers, of course, but they have not even completed any single road. Money said, the only one thing we can do is to call out our governor, Dr. Okowa. We are asking him, where is our money? Is he saving it? Has it been looted? Has it been diverted for other purposes? Of course, it has been looted and also diverted. So why are you asking the question you know the answers to? Also, a frontline rights activist identified as Kola Edogbaye from Bayelsa State was also reported to have said residents would no longer keep quiet but will demand accountability from the governor. He said, God bless Governor Wike for exposing the non-performing governors in the crude oil and gas-rich Niger Delta region, which collected huge derivation funds and arrears, but without any project on the ground to justify the monies. And Okute News learns that when the Bayelsa State Commissioner for Finance, Maxwell Ibibe, was contacted to react to the people's agitation, he told nations that the state will address the issue tomorrow, that is today. Kindly contact the Commissioner for Information. The State Commissioner for Information, Orientation and Strategy, Baina Duba, was reported not to have picked up calls or responded to messages sent to him. Why can they report? They think people will not know. Wike have come out to open their nyas. They have opened Ayu nyas. Ayu did not respond to that. And now have opened all the whole 5 governors of the Niger Delta region. They have opened their nyas now for them to come out and deny these allegations. But they will not. They have pocketed all the whole money, thinking that the public will not know. However, Okute News gathered that the Delta State Governor reacted to the agitation, saying the state had drawn only 30 billion naira from its acquired share of 270 billion from the 13% derivation arrears. Okowa, who spoke through his chief press secretary Olisa Ifajika, disclosed that the people of Delta State were aware of the payment because his administration earlier disclosed the information to Deltans. He never disclosed anything. Rather, he want to borrow money. To complete the project he said he started. Why have they tried? Nah, boy, these people, why are they so wicked? And why are they so devilish? Where do we get this set of governors and the ministers we have in this Nigeria? He said his administration opted to assess its share through a bridge finance loan of 150 billion naira from a bank, adding that the 150 billion bridge finance loan was a discounting of receivables from the federal government for petroleum subsidy payment made without recourse to the 13% derivation due to oil producing state from 2010 to date. Okowa also revealed that the funds totaling 270.6 billion naira ought to have been received long ago, but because of the federal government could not pay it in bulk, the oil producing states agreed for some part of it to be paid within 3 years and the other within 5 years. Liar. His chief press secretary, Okowa, said Okowa told Deltans that the federal government owed Delta arrears of 13%, which amounted to 270 billion. Okowa did not hide the fact that the federal government promised to pay the arrears. Okowa, you are not telling yourself the truth and you know it. And I must commend Governor Wike for opening all these people's mouths, for making the people to know that the money he is using to work is from the federal government, the arrears. I mean the 13% derivation arrears being paid to him, and using it to showcase people that any governor can work, not minding your party or wherever you come from or your background. But all these ones have pocketed the money. Imagine a governor of Bayelsa State who is crying that the government should come to their aid, despite the fact that yes, government is supposed to come to their aid because of the flood. But you have all this kind of money and you pocket it looking for people to come and support your own state. Where have you or what have you done to at least to help those people who are in IDPs in your area? Absolutely nothing. 76 abducted passengers rescued from terrorist captivity in Kaduna. 76 kidnapped victims have been rescued by security operatives in Giwa local government area of Kaduna State. Okute News reports that the spokesperson of the State Police Command, Mohammed Jaligi, in a statement on Monday said the victims were passengers from Sabombrini local government area of Sokoto State. Jaligi said the passengers who were traveling to different destinations were abducted on November 18 at 11 p.m. along the Funtua Zaria Road to Gubala area of the state. He said on November 18, at about 23 hours, the Divisional Police Headquarters in Giwa received reports that a large number of bandits blocked a section of Funtua and Zaria Road to Gubara area of Giwa local government area and abduct many commuters. On the strength of the report, a combined team of police, military were immediately mobilized to the location with a clear directive to dismantle the road blockade, root out the armed miscreants, and rescue any victims they have abducted. On reaching the location, a Ford opened truck with register number APP 667XG was found, and information gained that that a large number of passengers on the truck were moved off the road by the bandits. This development engendered an immediate search and rescue operation by the operatives into the adjoining forest. In the process, the bandits were encountered, and by the sheer of force of firepower, pressure mounted on them by the security operatives. The police spokesperson said the bandits were forced to abort their nefarious missions and take to flight with injuries. He said the 76 passengers abducted by the bandits were rescued after security operatives combined the forest for several hours. Jaligi said security operatives are still searching for the driver of the truck and 2 other missing passengers. He said the Kaduna Police Commissioner Yekine Ayoko said the rescue effort was achieved through the collaboration of the security forces. No mind them, all this one na audio rescue. We know them and we know what they are capable of doing, because election is coming closer. Now they are bringing all sorts of news to us. This one come to surrender. This one have been handed over. This one have been defeated. This one like this, like that. All these things is fake. Because I know that close to this election, or what do they call this election coming 2023, that the APC government will use people's lives and property to play politics, and that's exactly what they are doing. Called orders for the arrest of Abuga functional leader for forging a Supreme Court judgment. A high court in Buari, Federal Capital Territory, has issued a bench warrant for the arrest of a factional leader of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APOGA, Chief Edozie Njoko, over alleged complicity in the forgery of a Supreme Court judgment. Ukutenu report that Justice Mohammed Magudu issued the arrest order of Njoko and 1 other person in a ruling on Monday, when Njoko and his co-defendant Chukwu Emeka Nwoga failed to show up for the court hearing as earlier planned. Njoko and Nwoga were dragged to court by the Inspector General of Police (IGP) and were arraigned on a 14-count charge. The defendants were alleged to have written Justice Mary Odile, Kudirat Kekere Ekun, Mohammed Garoba, and Ibrahim Salawa, who were members of the panel that delivered the judgment, to help insert Njoko's name as the second respondent. Njoko and his co-defendants were alleged to have procured the service of some officials of the court who helped to insert Njoko's name on the judgment, which Njoko allegedly presented to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and the IGP, claiming to have been declared APOGA's national chairman by the Supreme Court. Their failure to show up in the court today followed Justice Magdu's order for both Njoko and Nwoga to be apprehended by the police and produced in court on November 28 for the purpose of their arraignment. The ruling was on an oral application by the prosecuting lawyer, Rema Somet Ezekiel, who urged the court to order the production of the defendants, who he claimed have served with the charge and informed about the day's proceedings but choose to stay away from it. However, Ukute News learned that Njoko's lawyer, Panam Ntoi, challenged the mode of service of the charge on his client and prayed the court to reschedule the arraignment to enable his client, who traveled outside Abuja, to return. The lawyer to the nominal complainant, Stephen Mwaga, furthered into his claim that his client traveled outside Abuja, stating that Njoko addressed a press conference in Abuja on Thursday. On these premises, Justice Magudu held in his ruling that it was obvious from the evidence before the court that the defendants, Njoko and Mwaga, were duly served but chose not to attend to the court. Njoko and Mwaga are in the charge marked CR/12/2022 accused, among others, of altering a judgment delivered by the Supreme Court on October 14 of 2021. In the appeal marked SC/CV/6SC/2021, and they inserted Njoko's name as the second defendant when he was never a party in the case. Part of the charge reads that you, Chief Edozie Njoko Chukwuemeka Nwog, on the 30th of November, like this, like that, dishonestly, deliberately for the judgment of Supreme Court of Nigeria. So that is all you need to hear about what Njoko did, and they have ordered for his arrest, Njoko and Mwaga, to appear before the court of competent jurisdiction to try them one more time. How they killed Deborah Samuel, abduct Igbo girls over religion. Soyinka speaking. The Nigerian playwright and novelist Professor Wole Soyinka on Sunday recalled how over 100 secondary school girls were abducted in Chibok, Borno State, years ago, and how a Christian girl, Deborah Samuel, was killed recently in Sokoto by her colleagues in the name of religion. Soyinka described the events as regrettable. He berated the atrocities Nigerians and Africans commit against one another in the name of religion. Okute News reported that Soyinka made reference to the two events while explaining why he doesn't belong to any religion. Soyinka explained his position yesterday during the public presentation of his two-volume collections of essays of power and freedom, and the forthcoming release of a collection of poems. The event, titled a special Soyinka retrospective, was held at Alliance Franchise Mike Adenuga Center in Ikoyi, Lagos. I am not a Christian, Muslim, or an Orisa worshipper, Soyinka speaking. A journalist, writer, and executive editor of the News and PM News, Kunle Ajibade, threw a question to the Nobel laureate on Sunday during the question and answer session about his religious status. Ajibade asked, "You say in one of the essays of power and freedom that you are not a Christian, you are not a Muslim, and you are not an Orisa worshipper, and that you use the gods of these religions merely as a mythological construct. But what exactly is your religion?" They asked. Without hesitation, Soyinka replied that he was neither a Christian, Muslim, or Orisa worshipper, and had never felt he needed any religion. The renowned poet explained that he does not worship any deity, but that he considers a deities creatively real and are his companions in his journey in both the real and the imaginative worlds. The Nobel laureate, who stepped short of saying deities are mythological beings people create or project, also said he is a mythologist and believes that people have a right and cannot help creating mythologies around themselves. Their experience about what they project from the inner recesses of their minds as answers to questions. Soyinka said, "Do I really need one? That is religion. I have never felt I needed one. I am a mythologist. I believe that people have a right and they cannot help creating mythologies around themselves, around their experiences, about what they project from the inner recesses of their minds as answers to their questions. And so I find nothing wrong with utilizing mythologies as part and parcel of my creative warehouse. But religion, no, I don't worship any deity. But I consider deities as creatively real, and therefore my companions in my journey in both real and imaginative worlds," according to Soyinka. The question and answer season was the concluding part of the program, which had a panel of the discussants do justice to a certain discussions around life and works of Soyinka. Okute News understands. The discussants are Professor Awan Amampa, Dean of School of Humanities, New York, University Abu Dhabi, who spoke on Soyinka's global humanism, Professor Oke Ndibe, writer and journalist who spoke on Soyinka's scholarship and Nigeria and world politics, Dr. Zinat Mohammed, Department of English, University of Abuja, spoke on Soyinka and his women, Ms. Achalugo Chioma Ilozumba, writer and lawyer, did justice to Soyinka and the young writers, and Mr. Tade Ipadola, poet, lawyer, and winner Nigeria's Prize for Literature, spoke on the old and new portraits of Soyinka. Amampa's discussions involve around the threat people pose to humanistic ideals in Africa and globe by their nefarious activities and evil acts against their fellow humans. He posed a question, echoing what he had been asked earlier in Rome, whether Soyinka was the last humanist standing. So that is all you need to hear about Soyinka, about what he says concerning the abduction of the Chibok girls and the religious people are playing in Nigeria with people's lives, properties, and the rest of them. Indonesia, over 40 people feared death. Scores injured in deadly earthquake. We are now in international news. So take note, my great people of Biafra, the ones who is out there listening to me. We are now on international news. So please pay attentively and listen attentively as well. A deadly 5.6 magnitude earthquake rocked the island of Java again in Indonesia on Monday, leaving over 40 people dead and scores of people injured. According to the United States Geological Survey, the earthquake centered in the Sinjua region of West Java but felt as far away as the Indonesian capital Jakarta, leaving thousands of buildings destroyed by the landslide. Chai, what a word. All this is natural something. Only God can help. A spokesman for the local administration in Sinjua town, Adam, confirmed that dozens of people have been killed in the tragic incident. He said there have been dozens of people killed so far. 44 people have died. Yo, may their soul rest in perfect peace. A government official from Sinjua, Haman Sahaman, told newsmen that about 20 people were killed and 300 injured. He added that most of the victims had fractures from being trapped by the ruins of buildings, and there are families in the village that have not been evacuated. He said, "The information I got for now is this. Hospital alone, nearly 20 died, and at least 300 people are being treated. Most of them had fractures from being trapped by the ruins of the buildings. We are currently handling people who are in an emergency state in this hospital. The ambulances keep on coming from the villages to the hospital. There are many families in villages that have not been evacuated," they said. So that is all you need to know about the earthquake that hit Indonesia as of yesterday, being Monday, the 21st of November 2022. So please, we are moving forward. Our broadcast today, it will be a little bit longer, and I'm very, very sure that my listeners, viewers, and subscribers out there will be also cool to listen to it. This is a weird country that is working. The former president of South Africa, Jacob Zuma, the court have ordered him to go back to jail. So let's read to know why and how he's going back. And look at this man, he's not looking healthy at all. He is not looking healthy at all. What could be the problem? A former president of a nation looking like an abandoned corpse. I beg you, people should forgive me and forget my mouth, because it will not job. The Supreme Court of Appeal in South Africa has ordered former President Jacob Zuma to return to prison. The Apex Court on Monday directed the former president to finish his sentence for contempt of court According to the court, the decision to release Zuma from prison on early medical parole was unlawful. Recall that the former president of South Africa was sentenced to 15 months in prison in 2021 after he ignored a court order to testify at a government inquiry into widespread corruption during his administration. Zuma was released from prison in September 2021 based on medical parole after serving a fraction of his sentence. The High Court, however, in December set aside the parole decision and ordered him to return to jail. The former president of South Africa appealed the ruling, and the judgment was delivered on Monday after the Department of Correctional Services said in October that his prison sentence has finished. The Supreme Court judgment reads, in other words, Mr. Zuma in law has not finished serving his sentence. He must return to the Escort Correctional Center to do so. The court took issue with the department's claim that Zuma's sentence had ended when the appeal was still being heard. The court also ruled that the decision by the former National Commissioner of Correctional Service to grant Zuma medical parole against the advice of the Medical Parole Advisory Board, a specialist body, was unlawful, which is uncalled for. Judgment states, on any conceivable basis, the Commissioner's decision was unlawful and unconstitutional. The High Court was correct to set it aside. A spokesperson for the Department of Correctional Service, while reacting to the ruling, said the judgment was being studied and it would likely respond later, according to them. So let us move into another news. How Ogun State carpenter beats graduate's wife to death over property. Whether it's landed property or any property, we don't know, but taking laws into your hand is not advised and can never be tolerated. The Ogun State Police Command has arrested one Segun Ebenezer for allegedly killing his wife. Ewo, oh, you kill your own wife, Abi? Mike Tyson. And you are there, people are making money from, from boxing and WWE. The suspect, the carpenter, reportedly beat his wife to death over a property she owed in her name. It's alright. Ebenezer was said to have been pestering his wife, a school graduate, to hand over a primary school she had built to him, but she refused. The police revealed in a statement made available to newsmen on Monday that the suspect was apprehended after a voice note that his wife sent to her relatives was played in his hearing. It was said that Ebenezer attempted to evade arrest after the voice note was played to his hearing before the relatives. Unknown to the suspect, the deceased had sent a voice note to her family members informing them that her husband had used a padlock to hit her on the head while beating her, and that if she died, they should be aware that it was her husband that killed her. As soon as the voice note was played to his hearing, the husband took to his heels, having realized that his evil deed had been exposed, the police said. The divisional police officer, Kemta Division, Adeniyi Adekunle, reportedly detailed his directives to go after the suspect after the evidence was presented to him. Preliminary investigation revealed that their incessant quarrel was because the deceased built a private school in the name of herself and the husband, but the husband, who is a carpenter, had wanted to take control of the school, which the deceased wife, a graduate, refused. This was why the suspect had been beating the deceased until the fateful day when he used an iron padlock to hit her on the head, eventually leading to her untimely death. What a word. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police, CP Lanre Bankole, had directed the suspect be transferred to the homicide section of the State Criminal Investigation Department for further investigation and diligent prosecution. The statement signed by the command spokesman, Abimbola Oyewemi, raised. So that is all you need to hear about how a carpenter beat his own graduate wife to death simply because of a primary school, simply because of a property, which they owe together, which even if the woman did not give it to him, the proceeds from that school, they still use it to take care of their family, of their expenses and whatever. And I don't see the reason why a carpenter, for that matter, I don't see where the categorical states here that a graduated carpenter. So why can't you allow the graduate, who is your wife, to handle the affairs of the school? Instead, you are demanding to have the custody of that same school. You have, I don't say where they mention here that, oh, the wife, the proceeds that come from the school, the wife never give to him, or the wife used to use it for her own personal needs or to take care of her family back home. No, it didn't state that. So I don't know why some people are just born to be nothing. There's nothing absolutely in their brain other than cockroaches. It's high time this Nigerian government start to ascertain people's brain, because most of them don't have a brain. Ascertain their head, most of them don't have brains. Most of them, it's only cobwebs that fool their brains, that make them to think like a spider, a big cockroach. How can you kill your wife? She didn't insult you. She didn't cheat on you. She didn't take the money that belongs to you and the family to elsewhere, just simply because she refused to hand over the school to you, which the school is in your name and her name, and she's the graduate there. So what is the essence of killing? Okay, now you have killed her, you want to take over the school inside the prison, because definitely you are not going to go scot-free. You are a carpenter. If you are among all these allies now, you will say, when you go there now, they will do all this what they used to do in Nigerian police, because that is what Nigerian police have been known for. To collect bribes and turn case upside down, and before you know it, the person will be out on the street walking like a normal human being again, not minding the atrocities that person or he or she have committed. But notwithstanding, you will find out that there's a difference between hot water and cold water when you will find yourself in a criminal department, where they will maltreat you with all sorts of weapons. Then you, had I know, will be your last name. So my good people of Biafra, the lovers of freedom and the lovers of mankind, I think this is where we are going to come to the end of this broadcast, because I don't have much news on my hand, but I will still have more to come, because we are just like messengers. We are messengers. I'm talking to people who keep asking me why the headline is always different from the message in. We are messengers, and we can do anything to make sure that people listen to that message. That is why it is very, very important that you put an attracting headlines. If I come to my headline now and tell you Mary now married to Joseph, you will say, this one is not interested though. But all of us claim to be Christians. But when you use the correct and right sentence or whatever it is being called as headlines, people will not show interest. But when you use the controversial ones, you find out that people will keep on trooping. Not because of your views or whatever it is being called. It's because we want that message to get to every hooks and crannies, to make sure that every Dick and Harry listens to it and learn from it. That is the most important thing of giving a very attractive headlines to any message. Forget about the headline, but what is the wisdom that message you listen teaches you? That is what we all have to be curious about. Not somebody giving a headline, but when you went into that message, you didn't learn anything. That is when you have every right to come out and complain that this person is misleading you. But there is no any kind of mislead in any of my messages. I make it point clear. And I always hit the nail on the head. So please, my commentators, those ones who know what I'm doing, but sometimes they feel aggrieved that I use the wrong headline. Please, I'm come in peace. You people should do what? Don't mind the headline, but mind the message being preached inside that very video you watch. Until I come your way again, I still remain your one and only Okute Daily Talk from my own corner, bringing to you this Tuesday, 22nd of November, 2022 broadcast. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I beg and I'm pleading with you, please kindly do that as soon as possible. Please. Without you, there will be no me, and without me, there will be no news for you. I know there's other news outlets there, but at least you'll find out that everyone's have their own gift and their own wisdom. I have mine and you have yours. So whatever way we are dispersing our duties, or we are discharging our duties, it is for the best, for the knowledge of us. You cannot use me to compare Rufai Oseni or Dr. Abiati, or Abiola something, the woman that is always on the right news. So we all have our own different areas of media, this media broadcasting or whatever you can call it. So whichever way you find my own interesting, please endeavor to continue listening, endeavor to continue subscribing, endeavor to do everything humanly possible to make sure that every news that's been passed on my platform, you share it with brothers and sisters whom you will like for them to be a partaker of that very broadcast. It is not by force, but at least